going live, meow. Is it over? It is not over. Sorry. They don't offer a 7:30 option when I'm programming the live stream. If that's the term when I'm setting up the live stream, they don't allow a 7:30 option. It's either 7 or 8. I don't want to make it 8 because that's too late. But no, it's 7:30 is usually when I go on, but I have to schedule it for 7 o'clock so it works with the software or whatever. Can't hear for the live. Sorry, it's my bad. This guy doesn't go live. It was 7 o'clock. I forgot to post the. I really need to do a better job of that. Posting on YouTube itself that I'm going live at 7:30. I'm not much of a content guy. It's like I know there's a whole big thing where people are like, oh, I'm a content creator and they live online. Well, I don't live online. I mean, I use my phone and stuff, and obviously I use my phone for making videos and doing live streams and stuff like that. But I don't live on my phone. It's summertime. I live in the garage. What's going on, man? Running 2 different tracks this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Nice. Heck yeah. It's been a while since I've pulled double duty anywhere. The UAS used to do it a bunch back in the Empire UAS days. We'd schedule a Friday night and a Saturday night race and make it a weekend ordeal. It was pretty cool. Mostly we'd go out to a place called Kroger Creek, and then the following day would be Turkey Trot, which is way east in New York from me. But that was always a really good time. But yeah, I haven't pulled a double duty in the clone yet. I'm sure it'll happen sooner or later. I was just informing my wife that I'm not completely sold on it. It's a theory that I'd be going to the Clone Wars Saturday, May the 3rd. But it's that back-to-back weeks. But I think she's jonesing to go to an amusement park that we go to that's somewhat local to us. She wants to go do that. She wants to get into the RV and stuff. So it's going to be I'm going to be doing battle with my wife all summer long to, I'm more than happy to do family stuff, but also I want to do racing too. And there's going to be a battle for time. I got a sneaking suspicion I'm rarely going to have like a weekend off. Okay. It's racing the flat cart, junior sportsman champ. Any tricks on getting sponsored help with a cost? I wish I've done a couple videos on it. It's difficult. I have, I've been very blessed with the channel sponsors, that have come forward and helped out. Beard Octane's more of a personal sponsor of mine, but Track Hack and Burris coming on board really it definitely helps my thing. But it's tough, man. Some people are just really really good at selling themselves for sponsorship. I've often struggled with. I want to be able to offer my sponsor something. It's one thing to, hey, we're going to put your sticker on the card, and it's mostly that because we run such little cars. You're not a huge billboard, but your presence can be bigger if they have a social media presence. You can hey, thank you very much, and then tag them in it and mention them. Kind of not every breath that you have, but every chance you get, anytime you take a picture with a card or anything like that. It's just I would love to give better advice on getting sponsors, but honestly, I'm not great at it. I even have it. I have a platform that would be a selling item. I have a difficult time. I've reached out to people and I've been told no more than you'll ever hear about. It's fine. I'm not upset about it. It's people have the reasons for supporting other, a racer or a platform or something like that, and it's their choice. It's perfectly fine. I think I have something of value that I can offer, but I'm not butthurt about it when it doesn't happen. So I know that there's local guys that do heck of a lot better than I do, even with this platform. So it must be the way, you're willing to put yourself out there, to ask a crap ton of people. Maybe that's it. I don't. I'm very kind of selective who I will approach or who I feel comfortable enough approaching. But it is what it is. But yeah, it's racing's expensive, so it's even a little bit of help goes a long ways. It definitely does. Determining chain length. I got 13 tooth clutch, rear gear 50. I won't say there's a formula. It's more so just I will say this that I found on the clone. We'll come over to my clone here. Switch around. All right. Ooh, camera's dirty. Hold on. My apologies. Clean those off. See if I can get a better picture. Yeah, it's a little better. Whatever. Okay. So my formula, if you're gonna call it that, would be making sure that your filter is not too close to your tire. It can be fairly close. Grab a tire here. It can be fairly close, but you also want some distance there. I mean, you don't want it be bouncing around and hitting your tire or anything. So I usually run it somewhere in that region. I'm not sure if anybody. The problem is if you're concerned about this distance, don't be overly concerned, because the further ahead you run your engine, the longer this chain gets, and then the more flap you can possibly have, the more the chance of throwing a chain or anything like that. But that's I kind of go with chain tension, that it rolls free, and then make sure that your filter is clear of your rear tire. I'm not perfect at it, but that's like I said, this is only my second year running clone. But that's what I kind of have found to be the best, would just be make sure that you have clearance there. I'm trying to get my seat here. I will pace around the garage the entire time if I don't sit down. Oh goodness, there's never any good lighting options in here. These are just LED lights that I put in. 2-hour drive east and then back home, then 2 hours north. Yep. That's it was nice last year when I didn't travel very far to races. It's part of racing. You want to race, you got to drive. I spent so much time driving in UAS down to PA, Ohio, the Carolinas, all that. That last year, having a bit of a break, just racing local, was really fun for me. Well, hello from the United States of. I'm in New York, so I'm pretty close to Canada. I find it funny. Somebody one time commented that they thought by my accent I was from Minnesota. I thought that was kind of weird, because I definitely don't sound like a New Yorker because I'm so close to Canada. But I think that in general, like the closer you get to the north or to Canada, we all have this whatever it is it a flexion or something like that? The way we carry our voices is definitely not downstate New York. From Brooklyn. It's not that type of thing. We have a little more, higher resonance to our voice. So yeah, I'm an hour and a half from Niagara Falls, so like 3 hours from Toronto if I were to go, something like that, cross the bridge and over into Canada. Thank you. Figured I'd start with basically as far forward as I can based on previous owner. Yeah, you can do that. That's just make sure that your filter's clear, and just keep in mind the longer your chain is, the more it's gonna move. It's not a horrible thing to have a little extra chain. It's maybe a little rotational weight, but I wouldn't say that it's definitely going to be harder. The longer it is harder to keep uh, a decent amount of tension on it. But then again, with a clone, you don't want it binding at all. you're just robbing horsepower if there's any kind of bind there. So definitely, keep at least, I'd say, half inch up and down. They call it deflection. So it shouldn't move, but this much, maybe 3/4 of an inch. Mine's probably 3/4 of an inch, but nice and free, so everything rotates. And then a rear gear guard is, I fought it for years. My kart owner used to insist on it on the open. It was a real pain in the butt. So the last year I went without one, and then I ended up throwing the chain 3 times at the Grand National. So chain guard went back on, and then when I was building the clone cart, chain guard went back on just because it just added assurance that maybe I won't lose my chain. So yeah. Holy crap, Brazil! That's awesome. Appreciate you swinging by. Again, I'm in Western New York. Um, Finally made it to the yeah. I'm sorry about the anybody didn't. I should do better at that. It's my bad. I YouTube only allows me to schedule at 7 or 8 p.m. I go live at 7:30. I usually am pretty good about making announcements 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. But this when I put out the post, I have to put it on my personal Facebook, Kart 633 Facebook. I try and Dirt Kart Racer Live. I try and tag everyone and then put it in there. I don't think I did Instagram. I should have done Instagram stories, put it on there, and then I should be sharing it on uh I don't even know what it's called, community or something. It's called on my end, and sharing that I'll be going live and cover all my bases. But I'm flighty. It's amazing I can even make it on here. But yeah, cool. Motor builder, give me filter yet? Otherwise, I would have done that. Thank you. Oh, you very very welcome. What it, I have all I have. Well, I know I have 2 filters. The other one's in the trailer. I have an aftermarket one. It's just the K&N is what I typically run. But they're expensive. I mean, it's $50 for a filter. The aftermarket ones are like 20ish, give or take. I like to run a pre-filter. Those socks, I've ran one for years on my open stuff, so I just kind of moved over into the clone world. Some people swear, hey, if you oil your filter good enough, it's unnecessary for it. So basically, the sock that goes over it, I say, keeps a majority of the crap out of there, and then your filter with the oil is getting those real fine particulates out of the air, so nothing goes wrong inside of the engine. But yeah. What kind of Duro you aiming for my 33s early season racing? Uh, Whatever they come in at. Honestly, what it comes down to with Burris is I think that it, it's not everywhere. I can't speak to every part of the country, every part of Canada or anything like that. I can't speak to every single track, but Burris 33s, Burris 11s, Burris in general, I don't recommend internally prepping them, and I don't love pre-wiping them before the day of the race because sometimes you don't know what the track is going to do. I would rather wipe them at track, um, and just kind of deal with they seem to absorb prep a little better than other brands. Maybe not Vega. Vega yellows are pretty decent at sucking up prep, but I would I would probably just run whatever they are per that day. You could not listen to me. Maybe it's worked for you in the past. Maybe you could pre wipe them, get a duro down. But typically I wod say that's a long long lots of talking to get around to. Burst 33s are usually 52 to 55 duro. Real hard track, you're going to want 60s, but it's more difficult to get them without some age on them and stuff like that. But the only thing that I would say for spring or anything like that is you can use, if you're using prep at all, you can use a much more aggressive prep in whatever night you're running. So that's they Burris to me run good as you wipe with something that will bring the track to the tire or the tire to the track. I don't think you need to get super deep into it in order to make that happen. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't work. I know people that absolutely love goating, putting goat pee on Burris 33s and making it work. I don't disagree with it. It's just I think that it's more of a you're using the chemical to mate it to the surface, not so much that you're treating the tire for the dirt. If that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, I gotta finish my dinner, aka my protein shake. So my wife's a vegetarian. Been a vegetarian for before I met her, but 30 years. And sometimes she likes to make, you know, what is with the shine there? Meals with no meat in it. She doesn't typically prep meat. She'll bake chicken and stuff like that, but I usually do the grill work. But sometimes she'll make pizza or salad or something like that. And got to get my Field Fitness, my Kart 60 thing. Got to get my protein source in somehow. So got some raw protein. Chris Bumstead's company there. I got 2 scoops in here plus 2 cups of milk, so it's about what is it? 8 and 8's 14. 64 grams of protein. Boom. Got to repair. I'm getting older. I hurt my shoulder and my elbow or something. I like to bench press. It's just one of the things I've always liked to do since I started lifting weights. And something was off. I don't know if it was a rotator cuff or if I had pulled something, or it's just I'm going to be 48 Saturday, so I'm not a spring chicken, and I hurt something bench pressing, which really bums me out because I really just enjoy bench pressing. I like getting uh, I haven't done a PR in a while because it really hurts when I try and PR, but just to run my normal sets of weights, my progression up and down. I come up and then I do a drop set, back down. It something was off this past couple weeks, and it really bugging me. And I've been hitting the protein pretty hard to repair whatever is freaking going on. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's not quite 50. So funny little story. Last year, I think it was last year. I told everybody for a year. No, it was when I was 46 years old, and for a year, whenever somebody would bring up, it occasionally comes into as a topic. How old are you, Ben? 47. Yeah, yeah, I'm 47 years old for an entire year, and then finally, my wife's just like, "You're 46," and I'm like, "No." She's just like, "What year were you born?" I'm like, "77," and she's just like, yeah, you're 46. And I spent an entire year telling everybody I was not that I tell everybody how old I am all the time, but I spent an entire year being a full year ahead of myself. Like, no, you're turning 47. Numbers. Who cares? Well, hello. What's going on? Mm. So Saturday, we're going to go up to what we call the city. It's Henrietta, New York. It's close. It's close to Rochester. It's a subsidiary of Rochester, New York. Anyway, they have indoor karting. Their little road course. My son and I have a year long. We became members, so we're gonna go and for my birthday, we're gonna get a little bite to eat. We're gonna go run the indoor go karts around just for fun. Probably maybe we'll go to Home Depot. I don't know if we'll have time. But we'll probably go to Target, stuff like that, maybe Lowe's, just to kind of wander around, I guess. And then then I get to race Saturday, going to Weedsport to race with some fast people. We'll see how I do. Um, how are you doing, my man? You all right over there? You won some races? No, I haven't won any races this year. I it is boy. I won't say jealous. I'm enamored of people who have lots of wins in their seasons. I came from UAS, Unlimited All Stars, open card engines. There is a lot to those things. I think the most successful season I had, oh boy, was that 2018 or 2019? It might have been back then. I think I had a 6-win race season. I was bouncing all over the place. I was going down to PA. I was in New York and this and that. And I think I had 6 UAS races in a season. Other than that, I've spent a lot of my time being in a 1 to 2, maybe 3 races, wins a year in open racing. So when I came over to Clone, I didn't expect it to be any different because it's a new format for me. Um, I don't think I'm slow. Sometimes I'm slow. That happens to everybody. Sometimes you miss tires, you miss gear, you miss the track. You're just not on. It gets rough. You just can't deal with the bumps like other people can. But I, it's been a long time since I've had a multiple winning race season. Um, it's not for lack of trying, but I I deal with what I got, and I make do. I think I try and run as best I can. That's all I can say. That's why when I get on here and I do videos and stuff, I never ever pretend like I'm a know-it-all. I'm never like I dominate with this stuff. This is how I do things. That's not it at all. I'm a regular racer guy who is not afraid to be on camera. That's my sell. Staring at my open here. I got so much work to do on that. Such a mess. I was very frustrated with the last race of the season and how there's another rough track. I've been to unfortunately the last 2 races I've been to were extraordinarily rough tracks. And I just discussed my age. I don't deal with bumps all that great. I can handle a real roughness, a little shake, this and that, but when it jars my back, it's not a good time. And unfortunately, my buddy Ernie went sideways in front of me in the open and smashed the nose in a little bit. So I got to repair that. It's not that big of a deal. I got to go through things. I've been concentrating on the clone, trying to get that going. So the opens, just I'm going to take my time with that, and I could race at the third. Flat Run PA is the third, but technically, if I were to just focus on this, like tomorrow, I'll get loaded up with the clone, and if I were to focus on it, I could have it ready to go by the third. Pardon me, but I don't think I want to. I don't want to rush it. It opens are. If you miss something on an open, it will bite you. There's no that's the amount of horsepower when people want to go to opens. Oh, those things seem so fast. They are a pain in the ass. They they really are. You have to cross your T's and dot your I's. You really do. If you forget one little thing, if you make a mistake, if you make a wrong adjustment, like clones, I don't even know how I would adjust the carburetor. I have no idea. I put gas in it, I pull it, I change the oil, and I pull the thing, and I go out and race it. Cool. You watch your gear, that type of thing. To whereas there's a 272 stroke sitting over here. Look at it, sitting over here in the box. There you go. Yeah, yeah. There's that. So, there's a lot to screw up. I'm pretty good with it. I've been running the same engine package for 2016, the Bama. I'm real confident with it. I how to drive it, what goes all into it, but it's still an open. When you're pushing the boundaries with things can go sideways in a hurry, and at those speeds, you gotta be on it. As much as your attention to detail in clone racing has to be there for speed, safety sake and everything else on an open, you really have to. It's not just, rung what you brung. And I'm no slight to those guys, but it's not just, hey, throw this bunch of power on there and make it go. It's just like the cart and the engine, they behave differently. Like it was so much fun to go to that race last year down to PA and run the open again, because I had been running the clone most of the year, and it was a riot. They grab a foot full of throttle, but it makes the cart behave in ways that the clone does not. The clone turns. The clone turns almost too well sometimes. Like it's crazy. I'm like, wow, it's been a long time since I've had that sensation. The open, because of so much power, you got to think when you lay on the gas, it's kind of pulling you. You're accelerating. It's driving you back in the seat, and as soon as you lift, that power cuts off, and then it dives to the nose. You would think it would turn easy, but as quick as it dives to the nose, it will transfer back and then cause it to get tight sometimes. So real finicky. And I dealt with that for years. I just I never had no slight on Phantom or anything like that. I've never had a cart that turns super well with the open. They all turn okay. Some better than others. Like the Recon and the Sights. I did the best I ever had. I got a poster right up here. Third in national rankings for UAS on the Scythe. It does really well, but in comparison, like, because cart chassis are designed around the clone, they just behave a lot better. So yeah, just take that for what it is. I'm not missing any comment. You guys just start talking. Okay. Sometimes I have a lot of people in here. Sometimes I don't. It's all good. Maybe I'll start to tinker on this. Wait for you guys to kind of chime in. There's no good light source in here. Should I take out my seat? I should probably take out my seat. There. Oh, my t-shirt. Anybody watch Supercross? See Eli Tomac. Hopefully he comes back sometime soon. Yeah, I gotta get this seat out of here. I need more tools than that. All my next gen seats have they look like Swiss cheese. I've had them. I think I've had most of them since like probably around there, 2017, between 2017 and 2019. Maybe 2019 is the last time I got a new next gen seat. They're all kind of Swiss cheesy by now, but you have to understand when everything's dirty. You'll accept my apologies here, but you see this? I have to cut the seats because the tank is right there, and it's a big tube tank that holds like 3 gallons. And then also, sorry, switch this back around. But right here's my battery holder. So all those got to be put into it. It's just like I said, opens are. I don't dislike them anymore, obviously, but I can tell you the clone. The reason people focus, it's my opinion. It's not always, but of my opinion, the reason there's so much focus on tires with clones is because you have so much less to deal with. Clones are simpler, but in order to get speed out of them, slight chassis adjustments and then working on tires. Tires are huge. Not that they're not big in open racing, but you got a loud pedal to get you out of predicaments. If you miss a corner, if you're not perfect, it's just different. But the maintenance you need that goes into keeping your engine upkept. You sometimes your tires go by the wayside. Yeah, that was terrible. That I feel bad for that guy. He's. Did you see that story with was it Gypsy was talking with him, and he talked about Tomac, and how they were at the Yamaha practice track or something like that, or down at the farm, and Tomac rolled over to him. And he says, "What's your deal, man? You're fast. Why aren't you?" And Jerry Robbins just like, when it comes race day, he just doesn't understand. He can't seem to get it right on race day. And I, kind of hits home. Like sometimes you go out and practice and you're, man, I am on fire. And then, you go out for a heat race and you're like, man, there it is. And then come feature time. That was a really weird. Oh, you guys there? Why are, oh, anyways, somebody tried to call me. I was like, what is going on here? Are you guys still there? I apologize about that. I don't think I can put it on airplane mode because I need the satellite in order to run this thing. So that kind of, I don't know how to. I could probably silence calls or something like that. Yeah, that was really weird. Everything went black on my screen. Sorry about that, guys. Be right with you. My apologies. There we go. And then the bench. Yeah. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, that was I didn't catch it. I didn't catch that get off race day, but then I saw it. A clip popped up, and it was just like that. It was gnarly, man. Yeah, it was freaking gnarly. Try and get you guys positioned. So not that you need to see what I'm doing, but so I can converse with you whilst I'm doing things. Do as I say, don't do as I do. Always clean your stuff after the races, or else you got to deal with it being dirty the next year when you go to do stuff, and then you look like a jerk because you're not cleaning your stuff properly. But yeah, kind of excited. I don't want to say I don't. The only thing I'm nervous for about Sunday at Weedsport is I've never been there. It just comes down to I always have a little reservation about tracks I've never been to that I'm, whether or not I'm going to be able to figure it out, quickly or not, or if I'm going to struggle. But when it, comes down to brass tacks, I've been a repeat customer of some tracks, and I've gone to them and struggled at those. So, what's it? I don't think it's that big of a deal to be showing up to like Weedsport. The thing is, I'm going to be running against people who have not only run there before, but are good at that place. And I'm showing up kind of half blindfolded, like, yeah, this looks good. Let's go see what we can do. But maybe I'll surprise some people and fire off pretty good and just be able to. Oh yeah. You guys there? Hi. What's going on? Nobody's really talking, so I'm just gonna work. As soon as you guys start talking, I can. Other than that, this would be a normal in the garage type of thing, talking to myself or jamming to tunes. But you guys are along for the ride. There's a gear guard. Those are mandatory for UAS. Did you know that? Now you do. I am coming at some point in time, probably once this thing's all together and built, engine on, the whole making it, so it looks right and not a dirty freaking mess like it is now. But there will be a video eventually on safety. And am I hitting that? Sorry. There'll be a video on safety and when you take your cart to tack, what they're looking for. And I know it's a pain, but honestly, if you can't let the inmates run the asylum. It's if you do not check that type of stuff, if you do not do safety tack, if you do not do tack, people will always overlook stuff, and that could be dangerous. So that's somebody, a friend of a friend from PA suggested that I do a video on that, and I completely agree that the viewers have, you guys are the people that I get most of my inspiration for what videos are coming down the pike, and they mentioned safety, and I'm like, that'd be a really good one to go over. Just kind of, especially UAS. Like, again, I'm not dismissing the clone stuff, but clones are a little more basic. When you get into open stuff, there are things not only that they have rules about for safety tech, but you should be abiding by, because they can, if you don't, bad things can happen. I've seen my friend lose his wheel because the safety pin came out, bolt came off at Paradise Speedway, big quarter mile, lost the steering wheel, and into the outside berm he went. It could have killed him. That post could have just Timmy Lawler was his name. His steering wheel came off, and that's a safety tech issue. That's something that maybe we overlook at times. It shouldn't be, and so eventually you can expect a safety video coming out. I know, maybe it won't do as good. I don't I don't base my videos on views. I just kind of do what I think people want to see, what I want to talk about, this type of thing. I can't, I couldn't drive the entire channel around views. It does, some videos do good views, some videos I have done that I really liked and they didn't do poop or views. And I'm like kind of saw that coming. Like, I had a lot of fun talking about that subject, but people didn't dig it. First race, oh boy, yeah. That's it's unfortunate when, especially springtime, fall time, when you are in the rainy seasons. Um, the tracks get soft and they get rough, and it's I hate when people get bashy on tracks for that. Like, I I understand that you don't want to be on it any more than I don't want to be on it, but also you have to understand that when you're dealing with Mother Nature, you a promoter's doing the best they can, a track owner's doing the best they can. Unless they aren't, if you got a whole bunch of people saying, hey, this is not safe, this is unacceptable, and they refuse to do anything. Okay, you might have a point there, but tracks in general, they're dirt. They're going to change. They're going to have character to them. Sometimes they're going to be rough. Sometimes they're going to be smooth as glass. It's part of it. But yeah, with rain in the forecast, there was a time. Oh boy, that was probably 2005, somewhere in there, 2005, 2006, 2005. That I crap you not, because I don't swear on here. It rained every single Saturday in Geneva, New York, without fail. Like, gorgeous all week long. Saturday came, rain, and we'd be standing underneath there was a the food vendor there, and they had an easel over top, and we'd all be under there. And good. It's every single Saturday. It was where I was running KT 100s back then, and it was just freaking terrible. Okay, I can still see you guys. All right, cool. What's up? Oh, did you know that the 10 millimeter will not fit on a 1/2 inch? It's really weird. Got it. Move that. Oh, no. Yeah. Got the seat out. Yeah, this is. another subject I could eventually do a video on. Sorry, guys. Belly pans. Definitely needed up front. Obviously, throttle linkage, stuff like that. Although I see that on modern carts, on newer models, the ones I looked at down at JC Specialies, the Premier, the Phantom, the Ultramax, the Charger. Don't know, maybe the Demon. I can't quite remember, but they had moved the throttle linkage onto at least a solid mount onto the either the frame or the belly pan. They had some weldments. Weldments, is that the word? Right there, so it was more solid mounted, which I think is fantastic because I had a rock damage a belly pan before, stuck the throttle wide open on the Bama before, and that scared the poop out of me. Wide open doing 80 mile an hour, a big track, terrible. Anyway, belly pans, I think they are useful. You know, keeping things clean, and maybe for an aero, you know, especially with the ducts coming out back. More so on southern flat stuff. It works a lot better, especially in drafts, stuff like that. Tracks that, you know, you're gonna get those type of things. Up north here, again, sometimes we have really rough tracks, and the scythe, this matter of fact, this specific scythe came with a aluminum front pan, and it got beat to ever living snot on the tires up here. The tracks up here. And I've torn up more, you know, belly pans and this and that on stuff up here. It's not a good time. So with the Recon this year, it only has a front pan on it, and I'm going to leave it that way. See how it behaves. I may leave this belly pan on the open only because it keeps stuff off of the engine for the most part. I got to go through this clutch too. All the levers are sprung out. Yeah, I gotta definitely go through everything here. But yeah, it's tough. It's a tough call. I think they look awesome. I think they do something. But also, when you run on rough tracks, here you go. This is what they collect. And you come off track, you come onto, you know, stone surfaces and what have you, and they just collect stuff, and then you bring it home with you, and I don't know. I'm kind of over it. The belly pan. I can like I said, down south where tracks are, you know, nice and smooth. Totally understand why people would run them and have them. What do we got? JC Specialies is like heaven for karting, dude. Yeah, it is absolutely amazing how much stuff they have. It is 4,000 different items, and then you got to think, you know, that's 4,000 items, and then not just like they have 4,000 things at the store, they have 4,000 types of items. So they have tires. What do they have for tires? They have 5-6 manufacturer of tire. Oh wow, you know. Then they have nuts and bolts and anything you can possibly think of. JC has it. You are not lying there, sir. Yeah, super cool. That was it wasn't my first experience. The video that I did for JC wasn't my first experience with going to the open house and doing all that, but it was a riot for me to get to film it and get to do a video on it because it's, you know, it's where I buy a majority of my stuff for racing. I mean, it's only, what did I say it was? 2 3/4 hours away from me. It's not that far. But this, you know, super quick shipping. They're on it, like, you know, a dedicated shipping department. It's, you know, I wish the website was a little more usable. I would like to do a video eventually on that too. Not JC's website, but in general, I love the grassroots of kart racing. I do. That's why we do it. There's no suspension. There's tires. That it's the base layer of racing. We're not talking about RC cars or anything like that, but that we can pilot. It's the base layer of racing, over racing, dirt racing. Eventually, and I think it is slowly getting there, that the karting industry needs to modernize in the world of social media and websites and stuff like that, because it's, whether you agree with it or not, there it's you could still call places like JC. That's how I would assume a majority of their orders come in, but also people like me that maybe don't want to call, or people we're at work. It's inconvenient. If you can bring up a website, if you can bring up an app and get on there, scroll through, oh, add to cart, add to cart, add to cart, pay for it, okay, and then in a couple days, or a day, or you get an email, hey, we got your order, here's how much it is, and they get it shipped to you. uh, People want that experience. They're so used to Amazon that we need to bring Amazon-ish, not fully, but Amazon-ish type of stuff to kart racing, to whereas you can be in the shop and, oh man, I don't have a cotter key for this or that, and then get on your phone and go boop boop boop, and then order, and then have it come. I think that in general, chassis manufacturers having uh, at least a an up to date Facebook page. It would be amazing if you had a website, that you had a store. I guess I'm spoiled when I order stuff from Phantom, because that's exactly what I do. I go on Phantom, I look for things. Oh, I need bumper bolts. Oh, there they are. Add to cart, and I order it, and then it's sent to me. That's I would like to see more companies get on board with that. The I think that you can move more product if you make the product easier to obtain. And I don't want to get rid of the phone calls. Calling up your local kart shop, calling up your local buddy. Hey, can you get me this and that? I don't. That can still remain, but I think your draw will increase to the sport if you have that modernization, to whereas I can jump on my phone, which I can at JC Specialies. They just don't have all the pictures up yet. But I got on there and I ordered that cart body off there, put it in my cart. That's it. Cart information. Boop, send. There you go. In a couple days, I had a body at my door, and I was like, yes. I would just like that. See that broadened. Um, it's seeing seeing chassis companies not have a price list. There, and I'm not going to name any names or anything like that, because I never bash on any car, any chassis company, anything. Um, but it's when I go to their even Facebook page, and it's just like, how do you order? You don't know the price. Is it the mm, I think the having a broader availability to stuff would only help the sport. Not the well, give me a call. It's just like, okay, well, some people are busy. Some people are. I made a list of all the hobbies I have on Beard Octane's Facebook page. And that's just a sample of stuff that I would like to do. I don't have time for it all. Running this channel takes a lot of time out of me, but it's just like, I want to be able to be in my garage and be in working tires, and crap, I'm out of track tack topaz, I'm out of this or that, I need a seat for, and just go boop, 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 and then it's on the way. Here's your money, give me that, that type of thing. But yeah. Oh, sorry, I had that was stored up for a while. I really want to do a video on it eventually, but I don't ever want to come off as I'm attacking anybody. I just it's all meant for good. Uh, Mr. Ben, I have a quick question. Can you run 2 6 tires up front? A dirt racing cart, or do you have it ever done that? Yeah, it has been done. I raced the Casbaros in KT100. They had older chassis and this and that. It'll work. I would say that Stagger, if you're looking for front stick on a modern chassis, they're designed around us running the way we do 800s on the right side, or 900s, and then 600, and then a 4.5 or a 5.5 on the left front. That's the way the chassis is designed around those tires. Does it mean you have to run them that way? Absolutely not. You can run whatever you want. If you want to run it more, sprint car style, it'll work. It may not accept the same percentages. It may not accept the same cross. Stagger's going to be a problem, like I said, because if you're running a 600 on your left front, you're going to be very little front stagger. I don't know how many sizes you can come across for rims in order to get some stagger into the thing, but maybe you don't want that. Maybe you want to run, 600s up front and then run 800s in the rear or something like that. I have seen it done a bunch. It works better on bigger tracks than it does little tracks, because little tracks really do take some stagger to get around. But if it's super loose, dirt, it might work, really well. I have seen it done. I have never done it. It's more useful website. It would be super helpful. I don't know that the pictures I know that's I'm half I'd be half tempted to get a hold of them and be like, hey man, I'll just come down and take a whole bunch of pictures and then put them on the website just so it's there. I would love it. It's just to see what you're buying, and then it's not only the pictures, but you got to enter in. It's a lot of work, and I don't. The reason I wouldn't ever. I want to see it done. I'm not going to be a jerk to say, how come this isn't done yet? It should be done, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of typing. You got to put in, a description to every single item. Like I said, I think 4,000 items. So 4,000 items are going to need a picture, if not multiple pictures. And then you're going to need a description of what that is. If it's something that has tolerances, if it's thousands of this or that, or if it goes to, that it's a little harder than, it's easy for me to say, not so much for people to do. So I don't ever get on anybody about that, because it would be ridiculous, because who am I? But in general, I would like to see the state of kart racing become a little more modernized. It's already on its way. There's already websites you can order off of. Fantastic. I just think in a broader scope of things, it's, if I was interested in certain types of chassis and I go to their Facebook page, they don't have a website, they don't have a way to order, they don't, it's just like that. I appreciate the grassroots of everything that is kart racing, but also it can be modern in that sense of availability to people. Just my opinion. Nice. Yeah. If you watch indoor racing, Coke syrup racing, a left front is the left rear, and they got it hung way out there. So this little guy right here, get this little. Yep, dirty, dirty, dirty. Everything I have from last year is dirty. That's, I hate that I'm that way, but when it gets to the end of the season, I'm burnt. It's just a lot. I don't ever want to gripe about it, because I love racing and I love running this channel. But when I'm doing this, as much as I, try and answer questions and replying this and that, and try and make shorts and content and doing stream and everything like that, and then I was racing and trying to get as much racing as possible. It got to the end of last year, and I just shoved the stuff in the barn, like, I'll see you in the spring, man. And here I am in the spring. Now I'm griping about how dirty it is. Why'd you leave it that dirty? It's it's just part of it. It's I'm only human. Thanks for all the help. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, any time, especially with an open. Uh, I I don't have setups, that I have the setup that I run on the open, and I have no problem giving that information, what I ran on the recon or the scythe, the numbers that I ran on it. It's a whole different thing to drive it. And some people wouldn't be able to drive with the numbers I have. Not that they're complex or anything, but they would want more of this or more of that. And then driving opens really is a way you it's not like setting up a cart. Like I think that a clone cart, I think that you can be ballpark ish with almost any driver with a really good setup. Like if the cart is just hooked up and you get, the tires are right, the setup is right, it's one thing to swap out a driver and then you're mirroring lap times. But with an open, it's a whole different thing. When there is no wide open all the way around with a Bama 250 or 270 or 300 that you have to lift. And then how much gas and when the pipe comes on, that is a whole different thing. Four stroke, same way. You get a real monster 450 under you or a Jawa or anything like that. And the way you drive the cart adapts from you can run clone all you want. You can get an idea on tires from you if you run like open at the same day you're running a clone. You can get an idea of what's going to work for tires, but the way you drive that track with an open compared to the way you drive it with a clone, night and day, night and day. And it's a good night and day. It's great to have both skill sets. Like I still get a bunch of crap occasionally from my open and UAS guys. Like, hey man, you ever going to come back UAS racing? And yeah I am. I think this skill set is really going to help my open racing. And it's not like I'm doing the clone racing just to do the open racing, but I think in general, the more experience you have, it one will feed off the other. What's going on, G Lou? Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. I'm just out here just yammering to the people, whether they want to listen or not. I'm talking. What it was that I listened to all that moto stuff and Weege there. Something about shoot, if he's talking or if they're paying, if you're paying, I'm saying. Oh man, protein shake down the hatch. I got my essential proteins in. I just did arms today. Are they looking juicy? You can't really see them. Biceps are. I bust my kids' balls. Um, Ethan, I mean, he's strong. He's taller than me, and he's getting strong. The only thing I got over him now is bench press, but he's developing everything very well as far as physical attributes, except for his calves, and uh, I just give him crap about his calves for so long. My weakness are biceps. Like I got a big belly, but we're no. Listen, I don't have abs. There's jiggly Ben, and then there's abs. But biceps, they don't want to grow, and they just hammer, 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 and finally they're starting to kind of come around a little bit. Not that I asked my wife. I said, "Do I look like I lift weights?" She's like, "Yeah, a little bit." Dad bod lift weights, and I'm reminded if anybody's seen that Shrek, the real Jack Shrek, and it says when your lift game is on point, but your diet is trash. Yeah. Roger that. Guns. Oh, what do we got here? Crying them tires. Tyler starting EV section on Bob's first. I think we'll see. Yeah, I've been kind of expecting an EV because they have the bikes. The EV bikes are serious, man. They're I've watched a couple videos on it, and they're quick. Um, it's really going to be. I'm curious what will happen because UAS. I was always told that if it isn't in the rule book, consider it legal. Huh. Now, I mean, you have to federally be legal. The whatever fuel type you're using or anything like that. But as soon as somebody breaks out the first time, I think that one of the motors, the actual motor, like electric motor, out of one of those dirt bikes with a battery cell that you can recharge, is going to be serious because I think those things are like 60 or 70 horsepower, and they're all torque. You're going to have to have some sort of rheostat on the throttle, I would imagine. But then again, you could probably do something. Say if you bought an EV motorcycle, um, I don't know why I quoted motorcycle. Anyway, if you bought a EV bike that had that type of power, a motocross bike, um, that would have some sort of rheostat in the grip, so you could. I'm sure that you would be able to do something with that. But I'm guaranteeing there's a bunch of programming and this and that. They can obviously they program 450s and the fuel delivery, the spark, the ignition, the and all that stuff in order to calm down or make something a monster. So I'm sure that that same train of thought can be applied to EV. And don't get me wrong, combustion is where I'm at. I love the internal combustion engine, 2 strokes, 4 strokes. Give me the horsepower type of thing. I'm not entirely against EV either. Like if somebody comes up with an EV that works for it, I'll be curious how well it performs against the combustion engines. But also if somebody does nail it in the area, because they're all torque from zero to now, if they go out and absolutely dominate, I could see some serious rules against them in UAS racing. Either weighting them down or regulating the power or something like that. Because we have that balance in UAS right now with the CCs. So 2 stroke versus 4 stroke versus Wankel. Your power to weight ratio and all that. How many CCs you're allowed, how much weight, and we have a very good balance. I'm not positive what. I think it's still 510, 4 stroke, 300, 2 stroke. And I think the weight dropped on the Wankel. So it's really, kind of trying to resurrect an old engine into it. But then if you were to add an EV, it depends on the horsepower rating and where that would fit in. But it's a great concept. I'm not against it. I want to see what they can do. I'm gonna go run electric carts tomorrow. Saturday, and up in Henrietta, and they're fun. They're a lot of fun. At a healthy race, yeah. It's. I tell you what, I know it wasn't. I didn't even finish all 20 laps. There is something to it. So my New Year's resolution was to up my cardio a little bit. I don't mind cardio. It's just so time consuming. If you're a lifter, you get where I'm coming at from. But it was to up my cardio, so I didn't go crazy. A couple days a week, I really get the heart rate going, but it honestly, the first race, I know I didn't finish all the laps or anything like that, but at no point in time did I feel tired. So that's only going to help, especially with the open, because there you have to be precise with the clone and your concentration. You got to mentally focused with the clone, but there's a physicality along with that mental focus that comes with an open. And I think that if your setup is off even a whisker in an open, you're going to be in trouble. Uh, Stark bars. Yep. That's yep. The Starks. Yeah. I saw somebody and were they comparing a 450? I mean, it's bone stock 450. It's not like a works or anything like that. With some of the what the professionals ride, but it was a bone stock 450 versus an EV, and was the EV within a tenth or two? Now it's dirt racing. It's all dirt racing, but um, yeah, it's that it'd be interesting. I'm here for it. It'd be really cool. Do I want to see the whole class turn into EVs? No, not really, because I like combustion engines. I like horsepower. I like the roar of all this stuff. But it's so. I mean, you've seen. We'll take the gym culture. You've seen a weight and seen those videos with somebody accidentally dropping a weight on a cell phone, and it's like it's dirt racing. There's going to have to be some kind of protections around the battery, I would assume, because you don't want to get into that. Uh, Yeah, you don't need to, one of those lithium ion batteries. You don't want to set one of those on fire on the track. That'd be a bad time. But all right, we are over an hour. I really appreciate you guys coming by. Yeah, as long as you're speaking, I'm talking to you. Other than that, when we get on here on Thursdays, if you guys insist on not talking to me, I'm just going to work on my cart. So I don't think you mind that at all either, because I talk the entire time on there. But video coming Sunday is going to. I already recorded it. It is going to be track tack on reapers. My suggestion for if you're running the track tack line. What props I suggest for running on reapers. I know the channel is brought to you by Burris Racing Chassis, but I do and will be running other tires at different tracks. They're a sponsor of the channel. I'm not going to run them primarily. Plus, you can't run at at events that only can only run one tire, a Maxxis, a Reaper, a Vagger, or whatever like that. I came from open racing, but anyway, yeah, Sunday's video is going to be my suggestions for the track tack line on reapers. And like I said, it's already done, so that's good to go. And then maybe I'll have some fun footage. Maybe I'll bring the GoPro and wear it around, going around the electric cart, the indoor course. Again, that was a lot of fun. I did some clips of that last time. And then hopefully I'll have some really good footage coming out of Weedsport on Sunday. And I was hoping to do it vlog style. We'll see. We'll see how comfortable I am. I'm all right here, but it's just going to be weird holding a GoPro. Like, hey, everybody, it's just, it's a mental thing with me. Um, we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. If I can do it vlog style or not. I'm sure I can. It's just a matter of talking myself into doing that. But if anything, if I don't do the vlog style for Wii Sport, what you are going to get is going to get my experience on track, stuff like that. And definitely I'll probably be up at the fence, recording some other track or other classes and getting some footage there. So, all right, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming by. I'll see you Sunday for all that stuff I just said. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you later. Bye.